Going live now. Hello, 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 everyone. Kim from K&RP here in southeastern Manitoba. It's a really hazy, cloudy kind of day. It is currently 29, including the humidex, which means it's 80. Oh, look, this. I thought I muted that. Give me a second. Gotta mute me. Okay, sorry. Uh, 29 with the humidex, which means it's 84 Fahrenheit with the humidex. It's really hazy. Can't be out there. Breathing's ugly. You know how that goes. I'm here with Jean Peter. We're going to do some tassels. Welcome, Sherry, Anne, and Belinda. Nice to see you guys. Just ahead,
Hi, guys.
uh, Sunday, I will be doing my celebratory draws. I have reached 200 people. Go ahead,
Yay!
Jean. Your turn, Jean.
How do I enter? I won't be here. Is it something I have to do?
Well, I'll send you something anyway because I know.
No, don't waste your postage. It's all good. So, just in case you were all wondering, it's 98 here. Let me just saying. Hobbs, America. So,
Yuck,
yeah.
yuck, yuck, yuck. So we decided that we're going to do tassels today. Those fun tassels that Janet Nash have been doing. Um, they're like this. Well, no, hers are much more delicate than mine. So you do a fabric tassel and then you do some embroidery and you sew on buttons and all kinds of fun things. I always add a little bit of crocheting. I did some yarn wrapping. Just fun things that you can just appreciate. Does that make sense?
Sure does. How long is your tassel?
This one is, I have a ruler. Look, and yeah, I could use this, but I don't use that thing. It is approximately at the longest point 8 inches from the very top. My
I,
thing is, I don't know how to make the tops of the tassels look nice. If that makes sense. Like, I usually just tie a ribbon or something around all the loops. Where's this one? This one I just tied some crocheted bits around so that all the ends stay together. I don't know how to do the centers of a tassel. And for this
well,
part, I just wrap fabric around and tie it really tightly, then use these as part of the tassel itself.
looks good to me. That's what I would do. I
Okay.
was contemplating the top of a tiny salt shaker,
Yeah,
but I haven't decided yet.
that could work.
Yeah, I guess it depends upon how much bulk I have.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't planned on having this much bulk. But like I said, I've crocheted pieces and added them in. Like I attach it. Hey Pam, welcome, welcome. I attach it around the thing that I tie around. Here you can see this one better. So this is where the knot is. Am I on screen? No, I'm
Yeah,
not even on screen. This is where the knot is. So I've just attached crochet cotton and I crocheted like a string of leaves on it. Just fun, and this is just a piece of paracord and I put some crocheted flowers on and just knotted them on there because they got holes in the middle. Hi
yeah.
Melissa, welcome. So it's kind of like doing, they're like a bead, right? Oh, look, that one will pull off that knot. If I have to be careful, I'll have to figure out something else. Maybe I need to put a bead first and then a knot. I don't know. Anyway, I'll double knot that and it should stay put.
Well, I had sitting beside me because I was using it earlier for another project, a whole box of scraps. And I am not using anything in my normal color scheme. Absolutely nothing. And I love it.
Yeah, Sherry, I do have beads. Like I do string beads straight on the fabric, but I don't think I've got anything with that size hole. Although I could probably use like a napkin ring or something. Then you could have a really big full one, couldn't you?
Yes, you
Or
could.
even this. I would need a lot of stuff for that. Anyway, that's kind of what we're planning on doing today. Got the idea from Janet Nash originally. She does them, and she was calling them snippet tassels so that you could just snip off a piece and use it. I haven't really done mine that way unless you go all the way up to the top of the strand and cut it off for the embroidery because it's all one embroidery and it would probably come apart. And I have figured out how I want to finish off these bookmarks. I know I'm all over the place. You know how I
That's
am.
okay.
So I did the bookmark, and on the bulb pin, I put just one of those little circles and then a sequin, but I don't like the way it hangs. I don't know if it's the way the bulb pin hangs on the. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to end up just sewing a bead through the
Sequin?
yeah, the bead, the sequin, the dot, and that, and I'm just going to finish it off where I have those holes punched. And I just use my green lined paper that I make.
Cool.
Organizing, nice. You know, I started organizing.
I did that once.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. I never get very far with it. And
I,
then,
I find something new.
yeah, or you see somebody, because I have things playing in the background, and Becca was doing that chunky book. So I decided that I want to do a chunky book because the last one I did, that, like she did, it, hers have like a really plastic sound when they click together. So I'm not the way, I'm not happy with that one. But this one I have put Mod Podge on and starting to get that sound, the clacky, plasticky sound.
I think you've lost it now that you're making art to go for a sound.
Pardon?
I think you've lost it if you're making art for a sound.
You
Trying
know,
for a sound instead of just for the finished piece.
well, I'm having fun doing it, and it's still my style. I'm just making it
I'm
sound like,
just giving you a hard time.
I know, I'm just making it sound like plastic. That's okay. Sitting upstairs, I'd made lunch. Ron comes in from the shop for lunch, and I don't know where the heck this came from, but he says, "Oh, you're like a werewife." And so, of course, now that has triggered an entire fantasy story about feral werewives. So that's going through my mind. Yeah, people throw just a comment, and I just run in a bazillion directions. Is that glary? I'll move it. And something I learned too, I had to try it because I saw somebody else doing it, is if you use your embossing folders and you emboss something that's reasonably thick, so it's got a little bit of stability to it, you can use this like a stamp. So I did like gold paint on these roses, and I'll show you. You can barely see it, but I used it like a stamp on some ATCs.
Cool.
So, you know, there's another thing for mark making, guys. Embossing folder things. Okay, should we start making tassels?
I already have.
You've already started.
Well, I just cut a bunch of strips.
Okay, I cut a bunch of strips earlier too. Um, I don't measure the length. What did you buy? Laminate 3 shelf units. Okay, awesome, awesome. And I'm still using a lot of mushroom tins. I've got like those plastic mushroom bins. I've got them everywhere, and I label them, and they stack nicely.
I think I like the salt shaker top.
You like the? I don't have a salt shaker. I do have pen caps.
I
I
have an
think.
extra one. Do you want it?
Oh, sure.
Here, come.
I wish. Okay, I'm just gonna lay my strands out, stack them up. Nice. Making into glasses. I don't know that feeling. I've got glass. you know. I even cut strips of lace for this one.
I didn't put any lace in, but I do plan on sewing some on it, I hope.
So my strips, these ones, I've got a couple that are 1 inch long, 1 inch wide, and you know what? I'm just gonna cut that in half and have 2 layers of that. So I've got some ribbon that is a 1/4 inch black ribbon to 1 inch thick strips of fabric. And I'm just going to layer all this stuff up and put it together. And you can see they're not nearly the same length. I'm not overly concerned about how long they are.
Well, I started all of mine about the same. Well, they started that way. Now, after they've been gathered, they're not so much. But I figure I'll change it as I go along.
Yeah. Well, the thing is you can be sewing stuff on them too, right? And
Right.
you can always trim one side down so it's shorter than the other. That's what
The
I
funny
do.
thing is, I like it just like it is.
Yeah, I
I
know.
really like these colors. And it all was because of this piece of dirty looking fabric that I had painted on and used it as a drop cloth and just
Yeah,
cut it up in strips a long time ago. Long time ago.
nice. That's fun though. Oh, I also had some of that shiny toolish. No, it's not tulle. It's that ribbon that you get on a spool at Dollarama.
Oh, organza?
It could be. I don't know. It's see through and it's stiff and crunchy and I don't know what it's called.
But you like it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's got shine to it. Pre blinged ribbon.
Yep.
Oh, come. Brayer off pages. Yeah. And those scrappy bits, my goodness. I always have a pile of scrappy bits on my desk because you guys know I use them. But anyway, I just, I don't know what my problem is about throwing things out. This is what I'm going to tie around the outside of the tassel. It's going to be really long so that I can get a really good tight knot, I'm hoping.
I'm actually gonna leave mine just like this and then decorate it. I'm not gonna come down there like that.
Come
Only
down.
because when you come down like that, you're giving it its own topper.
Yeah.
And this one I put that on there, so.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes perfect sense to me.
And I did do a little bead gathering, things that I might want to add to it. And I got my little cabinet behind me that's full of all kinds of fun things. And I have this amazing bag of Cracker Jack trinkets.
Oh,
And I was thinking that what a place to use these.
that would be a fun place to use them.
Oh, like this little blue telephone.
A little blue telephone.
It
That's
was
awesome.
perfect with my coloring. So
That's awesome. Okay, so then you got them stacked up. You fold them in half. And first of all, I'm going to take a piece of this and tie it around the middle at the top, sort of. Yes, they do multiply when you're not looking, especially if you make bits the way I do. It's crazy. But I use them, some of them, most of them. I try and use them. Okay, so I tied that knot. So now I'm going to pull it reasonably tight this way. And I am going to tie this one around here so that I've got the top. Have you started your journal, Anne, or are you still collecting stuff? I'm going to double knot this. Actually, what I'm going to do is pull it tight. I'm going to find my glue. It's back here. Of course, Jean and I didn't have this planned until, what, an hour ago, maybe?
yeah,
But the nice thing is this stuff I have all together because I have it in a container and I haul it out to the greenhouse to work on these quite often. So mine is a wild array of colors and textures. Because that's how I roll. They're still pretty muted color wise, though. Aside from my
mine are way more muted than I've ever used. I don't know why, but I really, really like it.
and this piece of fabric, it's a piece of quilting cotton, and it's got flowers, pineapples, fish, starfish, shells. I don't understand. Maybe it's a Hawaii print. Could be, I guess. Tropical fish and pineapples and watermelon. I don't know. Very interesting piece of quilting fabric. So
So I'm just digging in my tiny little bin of snippet pieces. I never have anything organized. These were organized, so that's why they get to be here.
nice. Well, I've got this tassel that I finished. This is the second one that I did. This one is complete. It's got all kinds of, buttons and dangly bits and embroidery and sequins and beads and yarn. And those things that I pulled off those Christmas decorations so that I could use them instead of marbles when I couldn't find my marbles.
Have you found your marbles yet?
Did I found my marbles on Tuesday?
Yay.
Yeah, I'm excited. So anyway, this tassel I consider done. It's got some huge buttons on, huge sequins. Just waiting for a journal to attach it to. So I'm working on this one, and it's very pale, very very pale. So you can see I've added, some buttons, some embroidery. Am I on screen? Some buttons, some embroidery. And this is just a whole bunch of scrap stuff that I had kicking around. Some
Well, my
sequins.
whole tassel, right, that I'm working on is made where I can actually get from everything I can get to without even having to stand up.
Well, see, I have this to go bin that I use. So I've got crochet cotton. I've got some crocheted snowflakes. I think they're too big though. Although, if I did a little tassel and had that like the cap, wouldn't that be a cute tassel cap?
Oh, yeah.
And then I've got this fun yarn, my embroidery floss, sequins and beads, a mixture in there, and buttons. And then this big bag of bling that my girlfriend gifted me. I've got my needles and thread. Something I'm slow stitching. Oh, look, crochet hooks because I like adding crocheting too. Whoa! Good thing that was closed. I have some pearly beads and just some small beads. So I'm ready to rock too. Stuff. Lots of stuff.
And my
What are
whole
you?
thing is going to be stitched with black or dark gray thread because that again was handy within reach.
Nice.
So
Nice.
at least there's going to be consistency.
That's a good thing. I
It's
don't.
it's real rare.
I know that feeling. Although this chunky book I'm doing is totally consistent. I used the same paint colors. I used inches. I used numbers, and when I was gluing the tissue paper down with the Mod Podge, I found that my gel pen ran.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. So I Mod Podged both sides, and I'm using the Liquitex acrylic inks and
Hmm.
the golden acrylic inks now instead of my gel pens, so that I hope it doesn't smudge anymore. So, note to self, guys, that Bic Gelosity, if you put a Mod Podge or a varnish finish on, it will smudge.
I wish they had an automatic thread that went into the needle.
I have, I'll show you. Where is it? You can get these at Lee Valley Tools. It's needle
I
thread.
actually have something like that, but I just found it the other day cleaning out a drawer and I don't know where I put it.
Oh, so what you do is you take your needle. Let's take a new one. Okay, so you take your needle and you put it eye side down.
Oh my god, I need that thread holder.
Ron makes them. We sell them at the museum. We've got the contract at the Mennonite Museum because they have ladies in who do quilting, and they have these sitting on so that you can just grab and go kind of thing. Um, so they asked him to build them for him. So we've got those.
What would the postage be to send that here?
I don't know. I could find out.
I would be more than happy to buy one.
Okay.
And you know what? My husband's pretty handy. So if he wanted to send it, don't put the sides on it,
Yeah.
so it would be a flatter box, we could do that.
Okay. Um, yeah, because he's got a whole bunch of parts made because we just filled an order for 36 of them. So it just needs glue and nails on the sides.
Yeah.
Okay. And
We
then,
even got we even got all kinds of clamps and everything.
and it's got this thing so that when you're, it doesn't pull out, like that's for pulling your thread out.
Hmm.
So to keep it from pulling out, there's a little lever that goes against it and it kind of holds it tight.
That is the coolest thing. That is so perfect.
It is.
I think he should make them for everything, for a ball of yarn, for crochet balls, the whole sizes. Okay, so too much for my excitement there.
All's good. Now, I believe you go through this hole. It's been a long time since I've used this. I'm going to butts and do it now.
Well, the one I found, I know where it came from. I remember who gave it to me. And he has since passed. He had a watch repair store. And it actually has the instructions in it. And
Nice.
I probably could find it if I just, rolled over to the other side of the room and looked. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
that lazy. I have decided I'm a lazy crafter.
me too. That's why I've got this mountain of stuff beside me because seriously,
Yeah.
it's okay. My eyesight is really bad today. Comes and goes with allergies.
Yeah, mine is screen time, and I've been very limiting for the last 3 days. So,
Oh, I see. You do that, and it pokes a little thing through your needle, and then you stick the thread around it, I think. You hold the thread around it. Nope. Nope. How do you do this? Hmm.
did it stick a little hook out?
It does stick a little hook out. It sticks a little piece of metal out. It's not
And
necessarily a hook. Oh, I see. If you put your thread here, it's supposed to poke it through. Maybe. There it goes. It's, if you get it just right, it pokes the thread through. So then when you pull your needle out, it's threaded. There we go.
yay!
I think it's more me that's finicky than the needle threader, and I'll be honest. I will be honest. So, what do I want to do? I've got a threaded needle. Um, do 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 do. Hmm. Let's see if I can sew one of these things on. These are, I take them with me when I go places. That way I can just throw a little bit of stuff in a bin and take it along. But I'd like to get these finished. So I'm not going to tie a knot. It's going to go through what at the back? Hmm. Thinking. Because I don't want them too bulky. I want to be able to put them in an envelope and send them, right? Got these dots. I like these dots. You know what? I might have to use an orange. Orange on the back. No, I don't like that idea.
Well, tatting doesn't hold up to being tied in a knot.
No?
No, it just broke.
Oh, the thread's so thin.
Yep. So I think I'll just stitch it in.
Oh, I know. I've got an idea. I have an idea. I have a piece of ribbon. Oh, yeah. I had a piece of ribbon.
That's right. I'm conserving my energy for important things.
That's
Like
right.
yesterday, I drove 90 miles to have lunch with my grandchildren.
But that's an important thing.
Yes, it is.
That is an important thing.
It was energy well spent.
Good. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use the pink because I think pink will go with all of the bookmarks. Maybe a little bit white too. We'll see. We will see. So if I take, these are getting more and more elaborate as I go along, guys.
Surely not.
Surely.
Not him.
Don't know why we would be surprised about such a thing. Okay, so now I will tie a knot. Okay, Belinda, take care. Hope you have a good weekend if I don't see you.
Bye, Belinda.
Like I say, Sunday I'm going to do my 200 subscriber celebration. So I'm going to take just a little bit of white. A little bit of pink. Let's cut them at angles.
I can't even fake it and get to your celebration because you go live at exactly the same time the event we're going home for is.
Ah, wow.
Oh, that's cute. I put my tatting on just a piece.
Oh, that is cute.
It on with the button.
I really like these tassels. I have to admit, they really do make me smile.
Yep. And of course, I'm not going to finish it, right?
Yeah.
So, it'll it'll be worked on in the car.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's the reason I have so many tote bags and zipper bags and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, so if I do that, put it through. And then do the paper and the sequin. Oh, yeah, that's going to be very cute, guys. Really, really cute. I know I've got purple beads in here someplace. Oh, I'll just use the pink.
I think I like to collect things.
Gee, I think I do too.
I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm loving it.
I know. That's the thing about these though. They're just you just add and play and embroider and what have you, and they are gorgeous.
Yep.
Lots of fun. Lots of
I'm pretty sure before I get very much further, I will have to go get a different color of embroidery thread.
fun.
There's
Oh,
no, there's none in this room. Believe it or not, my art room has no embroidery thread because I do most of that kind of stuff on the couch
Yeah,
watching TV and stuff. So
yeah, I get you. I do get you. All right. Oh, don't nod on me. Don't nod on me. Oh, my thread is so old. I have a really bad time with it knotting, even though it's a Gutermann thread,
oh yeah.
because it's been on the spool so long, right? It just is horribly annoying. Oh, it's going to have to do. It is going to have to do.
When I think of all the things I have that could go on this, my mind is just
Yeah,
because see, I have a plastic sweater box that it's like equivalent to two of those plastic shoe boxes,
yeah.
and they're full of what did I label that? Oh man, I can't remember. Weird dangles and charms or something like that. I
Okay.
mean, and who knows what's in there? I mean, anything that I've made some jewelry with some really strange things.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where that's coming from.
So they're already like on T pins or whatever, ready to go?
Yeah.
No, I don't run my thread over beeswax. I should. So, what do you think of that as the finishing touch on these?
That's cool. Bye, dear.
Bye, Gary.
Hmm. He
What do you
needs
think?
this vacation worse than I do.
Does that work?
Looks good.
So that's how I'm going to finish these bookmarks off. Is I'm going to do a little bit of ribbon at the back, and because it's a bookmark, it's a little thick at this corner, so that's what you want sticking up over the page anyway, right?
Yep.
Whew, good. I can do that. Now let's play with this. Let's clean these up.
Okay, I've done one strand. And I think I'm going to leave it like this. It's got some dangles and a vintage button. And I mean, I say that. We all know that, you know,
I do. I seriously do know how that works.
less is not more.
No, no, it isn't. So that's for the other project. So I've got purple and blue beads on here. I've got the crocheted stuff, blue embroidery. I think this is more of a blue and purpley theme. Got some pink fabric. Got burlap with blue lace, blue and yellow. Fabric wise, this is a pretty boring and thin tassel. So, like I say, I crocheted some green leaves, or was that on the other? This no, this one. I crocheted some green leafy things coming down. I want to go get my bin of purple beads. Bin of purple beads.
I bet this button won't go on my needle. Hey, it did. I'm using a bookbinding needle again because it was here. By the time we decided what we were doing and I got in the shower and out, I really didn't have much time for gathering. So
Yeah,
that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
I've got these cool purple bead dangle things. They're plastic, but I could add one of those for sure. It's got a pokey thing. So I can add that. And then I've got these weird purple ring.
I'll be back. I got to get some different thread.
I've got these wonderful purple flower beads. And yeah, I'm using plastic beads on these because I can. I got seashell purples, little leaves. There's a little dangly leaf. Lots of those. Smells purple flower plastic. You know, when I'm at the thrift store and I see kids' jewelry or whatever, I buy them. I take the beads off. I have a shoebox for every color bead. And look how full. Like seriously. I could have a bead store. I got a couple of these long um purple. These ones are wood. Does that make too much noise? Another round thing. Round thing. Got this big square. I don't know if I want that on a tassel. I also do beaded curtains. That's why I collect a lot of these beads. I haven't done one for a while. I have one set up to go, but it's going to be like floor to ceiling, almost like a room divider. I just have to figure out what kind of pattern I would like to do. I'm thinking maybe flowers and then sky, maybe some grass. I don't know. That's probably going to be a winter project. Okay, I'll use these light. They're more like a gray than a purple, but they are purple. Like if I put them in my gray bin, they're definitely not gray. So I've got a few purple things I can add. I've got this. Is that a little girl? Is that a little girl? Is it a
Looks
teddy
like
bear?
it.
I don't know if I want her on there. Well, I'll take her out. Got an acorn? Nope, that's grapes. Ooh. And so I've got three of those, that, and just a couple of other big purple odd beads. And then my mom had those wooden bead car seat things and they
Mm-hmm.
fell apart. So I got all the beads from them and I've been hand painting some and putting flowers on them and things.
Cool.
I don't think of this. Okay, I think that's going to be good for purple beads for this one. Now blue. I don't know that I want green beads on it. I think I'll just use green embroidery floss and do the beads in purples and blues. Look at me planning things out.
I know. I'm scared.
I know.
Well, I mean, you're planning, and I go for floss, and I only come back with 5.
Huh.
Can you believe that? And my colors are almost pastels. They're
Yeah.
all kind of grungy, washed out things.
Yeah. But
I'm
it's
so
going to
glad
be pretty.
I'm so glad we decided to do this. This is satisfying, something I do every time I go on a vacation. I come up with a new project less than 24 hours before I'm leaving. And it's like, I got to gather it all so I can take it with me. It's going to be perfect. So this is satisfying that need. So maybe this evening I can actually relax and go to bed early.
Ooh, wouldn't that be nice?
I know.
So I have lots of blue beads. The reason being is I did that fish curtain, so the background is all blues. And again, they're just plastic. A lot of them are just plastic beads, but really they're a lot of fun.
Some beads you can't get the coloring unless it's plastic.
Yeah, I know. I don't mind using plastic beads.
And I used to be a bead snob and I would never use plastic beads. But in some of the creations now for jewelry maybe not, but for creations,
Oh,
like
yeah.
if this is going to hang off of a purse or a journal or keychain or whatever, you don't
Yeah.
want it to be super heavy.
No. Oh, let's use these. One, two. Problem with having your beads like this is if you're trying to match them, you have to dig.
Yeah.
But I like the tactile feel of it, so I'm okay with that. I just hope it's not too noisy for you guys on the other end. I'm trying to be very quiet. There. Those, and we'll get rid of these. There. Good. Another one like that. All right. So then I've got all kinds of blues and purple sequin stuff I can use.
So that thread spool thingy you got, can you have that to me before I leave in the morning?
Sorry.
Yes, I'm not only a lazy crafter, I'm an impatient
Me
crafter.
too. Me too. I want them like yesterday.
Yes.
Um, I have 16 boxes of plastic beads like that. 16 shoe boxes. Now, is that a little ridiculous? Yes. Yes, it is. But I also, like when I do my beaded hearts, my embroidered hearts, I use plastic beads because I figure if I can use buttons in it, I can use beads.
Yes.
Yes.
When I reached over for the closest container of beads, and I found this little tray of dangles already made.
Yeah,
And so I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
it is.
I'm sure glad my phone tells me when it's potential spam.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of that.
I have been too. When I was talking to my granddaughter yesterday, she we were FaceTiming and she went blank and I said, "What happened?" And she says, "Oh, it was a spam, Grandma."
So, are all your grandkids going on this trip?
No, just my son and his kids, which are I mean, I've never went anywhere with them
Yeah,
ever. So it's a big deal to me.
that's cool. And some of my stuff is flannel, some is old sheets, some is ribbon. It's whatever I've got kicking around. Might as well use it, right?
That's right.
my bin of sequins? It's over here. Whoa! That was an accident waiting to happen.
So is anybody in the box playing today? You're just hanging out.
I think we've lost everybody but Anne. I don't know if anybody's in the up in the what are they? Bleachers today,
Yeah, the
balcony.
balcony.
Yeah.
The balcony's not always a safe place. People fall asleep up there easily.
Yep.
Oh, this is so much fun. I'm just making a mess and I'm loving it.
My problem is when I take something like this in the vehicle, you almost have to have like a serving tray that you can have on your lap. So if you've got all your beads and things, at least
Yeah.
there's a lip so that
Well, for me right now, I only have the tiny little container, two little containers of beads. And you're right, though. I probably will have to find something. The biggest problem is that I don't have a lot of laps. So,
yeah, I don't know that like we're hoping to go away early fall when most of the garden is in. Um, and for me, it's really going to depend on the amount of smoke out there.
yeah.
So, but usually I take knitting along, and Ron just laughs because he knows when I'm getting anxious because I don't travel well at all. Um, my knitting needles go faster. You're making a card? Very nice, Anne. Just a greeting card? So I don't think that I would take beadwork in the car.
No, probably not. I'm
I mean,
thinking all the other little stuff I would stitch on, and then, you know, I can do the beads
yeah,
when we get there.
yeah. See, again, I get this big ugly knot. I don't know. I don't know. It could just be me getting too impatient, pulling it too soon, and it's not knotting as nice as it used to. Well, I'm sure you have a friend that's grieving, Anne. Very nice of you to do a care card.
Now I'm in this mode where I think I need to fill this whole thing up. Each strand needs to be totally full of stuff.
Well, it depends on what you want to use it for. I have been thinking about using mine on the backs of journals, on the spines of journals.
Uh huh.
So I don't want them overly heavy, but they can get pretty darn heavy. I admit. I admit. They can. They can. I think I'm going to use just crochet cotton instead because it's easier for me to thread. Oh, but then I can't go through the little beads. Hmm. You found a good saying, Anne? Sometimes it's hard to find the sayings that you want. Like I had to do a whole bunch of sympathy cards when my son-in-law's dad passed because my kids grew up with that family. I know all the kids. I know, so had to do cards for everybody. And yeah. So now I'm confused because I want to use this thread. Because it's easier for me to thread and see.
Is there something running at your house?
Yeah, that's my computer fan. If you hear that, that's
Well, I was trying to figure out if it was yours or mine.
it's right beside my microphone because I've got I take up my entire space with stuff. So my desktop is like right just off screen here, and
Hmm.
the back of it is right beside my microphone. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's got a nice steady beat.
Oh, it's not a beat, it's just a zzz.
I don't know. It's kind of a beat. I mean, it's. There goes that word again. Consistent. Somebody better take my temperature.
Hmm.
The really cool thing about these is if you don't like it, just add more stuff. Or when you mix it with something with the rest of them, it'll look cool.
Yeah,
I see. I told you I've got this thing. I think I need to fill the whole thing. I even sewed on some sequins.
nice. But it's fun. Like when you've got all the strands like that, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
That's a beautiful saying, Anne.
Oh, that is pretty. I love my messy little stitching with my tiny little dangles all on the end.
Yeah. Oh, those are very pretty. I could do that. I could do that. It just adds another dimension to the dangle, right?
Yep.
Really does. Well, I mean, I've done that too. You know, on some of the yarn, I've frayed it out at the bottom and I've added beads to it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's wherever you can attach something,
I know.
you
That's kind of
know.
what I'm doing. I just already feel like my selection isn't very big. I was like, when I was dragging things out, I thought, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it simple. And now that I've started, it's like simple. Whoever thought that was a word?
Yeah. Oh, good. And these tassels are a lot of fun. They really are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you don't have to finish them in one day unless
Now, I think they're going to be as much fun being an ongoing project as
yes,
anything else.
I think so too.
This is definitely one of those, the joy comes in the making of it.
Yeah,
I mean, the using will be fine and wonderful, but the joy's coming from the making of it.
definitely. Well, because you always see something different. Like I've got some really cool buttons that they're decorative buttons. So they've got flowers painted on them. Some of them have ladies painted on them. Some are shaped like giraffes,
Uh
some
huh.
really fun buttons. So I think that adds a lot too.
Yeah. I think she has strips of crocheted yarn in hers,
I
Sherry.
do. I do. I've got I'll show you right away. I've just done some like chain stitches and I've been thinking that I could use the wider strips. But I do have crocheted bits in. Am I on screen? Crocheted bits in, and like I say, I've fringed the ends of them. This one I wove thread through a different colored thread and sewed on buttons. I used that fun stuff. You suggested actually that I use this yarn Sherry because I've got a few balls of it. I was using for uh, tag tassels, so I've got some of that in. But yeah, I've had a few, crocheted strips, and um, here again, I just did a whole bunch of chain and then tied shank buttons on. Oh, these ones, they actually go through the buttons. I do have another one with shank buttons tied on. Hey, Barbara, welcome, welcome. Yeah, the buttons are a lot of fun. I've got some stitched down, I've got some woven through the crochet chain, I've got some tied on. Um, I actually just tied them on. I wrapped it around the yarn and tied knots and added them. These are the shank buttons. So I put them on the crochet chain, tied knots after them. But yeah, buttons are a lot of fun, especially if you can get some good colors and you know. Of course, I was using white because I've got that little bin of white buttons beside me.
Mm-hmm.
But no buttons, sequins, beads.
Well, these sequins I used are way tiny for these eyes, but I do know where the others are.
Well, but that's the fun of it too, right? There, I put one of those purple dangle things on. I'm hoping that's going to be the bottom of it, but you never know. I'll probably add other stuff and make it long. You never know.
I
Thanks,
have a
Sherry.
I have a lot of buttons too, and I am a hoarder of buttons.
I just gave away a big bin of like a big cookie tin, actually, two of them full of buttons. My girlfriend collects buttons, and an elderly gentleman had given me these two cookie tins that were his late wife's, and I passed them on to her because. And Sherry, you could do crocheted strands with leaves on, just do. Just whatever floats whatever you've got, just add it. Was it this one that I had that on? I had a leaf sequin, a big long leaf sequin. So there was a leaf on this piece of fabric. So I sewed the sequin on top of it. But yeah, I'm using these plastic acrylic beads and wooden beads. Use what you have. It's fun.
I think the fun is also in finding the stuff that you have
That's
and going
right.
through it and seeing, oh, that would be good. Oh, that would be good. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I put those crocheted flowers on.
Yep,
And then on the other end of that black cord, I did purple pony beads. It's, whatever you have, you use.
that's right.
And it's just to add interest. And when Janet Nash did it, like I say, she figured it could be like a snippet tassel so that if somebody's doing a project and they want that bead and sequin right there, they'll snip it off and use it in their work. So it's almost like you could do these as gifts for crafters. Not that I would want to chop up one, but somebody might.
I have several snippet rolls people have made, and
But they're
they just,
gorgeous. How can you chop them up?
I know they're just sitting around. I need a couple more before I can hang them on the wall, but I intend to take them off, let them hang as long
Yeah.
as they are on the wall is just part of the decor.
See, like I've got this purple ring. I don't know. It feels plastic. It's purple. So I'm just going to take this piece of fabric, fold it up so that that ring is going to dangle down. Then I could add things that are on um, those pins, those ones with the heads that for jewelry making, eye pins.
With the head or head pins with
Head.
yeah.
You put the beads on, and then you do the loop, and you add it to make dangles.
Yeah, that's a head pin.
Okay, so I could put a few head pins with cute dangles on.
Well, I just added sterling silver to mine. This is a piece from an old jewelry I had made, and I know my jewelry I always use sterling silver wire because I
Right.
can't wear anything else. And so this has actually got some sterling in it.
Nice. That's beautiful. So I'm gonna get some embroidery thread and tie that on there with a wrap stitch, macrame wrap stitch. Yeah, that pandemic sure brought out a lot of creativity in people, didn't it? People started doing all kinds of creative stuff. I don't know how many people are keeping it up. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Well, I turned off the light so you wouldn't see the light on my mat, but I can't see the stitch. So I figure you'd rather see this light on my mat than gushing blood or something.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, there's so many projects I want to do, and so many projects I've got started. I was hoping that because I've got this tassel to do, this one I finished, but now I've got another one to do. Yes. So, Barbara, I just thought I'd let you know because I think you're the only one who was here when I made wasn't here when I made the announcement. I will be doing my 200 subscriber celebration on Sunday. Draws for thank you gifts. Um, they're just going to be little flat envelopes with stuff in them, but I will do that Sunday afternoon.
So I have to keep looking at it after it's done to make sure you can see everything I'm putting in there.
You can't see everything that you're putting in there. I can tell you right now.
I'm pretending I can.
Okay,
I'm really good at pretending.
me too. Me too. Now I want to write a story about that werewife. The plot is thickening as we play. So I just did a wrap and this plastic ring. So you can just add so many strange things to it, whatever your heart desires. I guess I could have used like a spring from inside a pen would work as well for that.
Mm-hmm. See, and I feel like I've accomplished so much because I have 3 strands done, and
I
I'm not putting a lot on them. This is the third one.
Yeah,
I mean, but
it's pretty.
it just all fits in there, you know.
Yeah. See this one, the strands are so short. The majority of them are so short. Well, that one would have been longer if I'd have left it long, but some of the strands are pretty darn short. I may end up doing some more crochet stuff and adding it in. Maybe tie a ribbon on and down, you know,
Yep.
because when you've got it wrapped like this, you can add all kinds of things to that wrap for additional strands. You're welcome, Barbara. But I mean, I've got like this one. This is like an inch worth of strand. Because when I put them together, I don't necessarily do them equally, you know. But it seems like all the really short ones are like right here, right there. I wonder if I can move them around. No, I just may have to add to them something long. Okay, now what? I should grab different colors of crochet. Maybe I should just use embroidery floss because I have it right here instead of crochet cotton. Let's do that. Let's take that off the spool. Oh, no. Take it out of the needle. Let's use this turquoisey, greeny blue. No, is that green? My eyesight today is just pathetic. I'm going to use this blue and I'm going to do some stitching up this white ribbon here.
I think it's hard for me because everything is so close to the same color,
Yeah.
you know, and then your eyes are like,
When today it seems I'm having difficulties with blues and greens differentiating.
mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what they say, this getting old isn't for sissies.
No, it is not. So I think maybe It's a good thing that I like really eclectic color combinations. So I don't have to worry about things like that anymore.
Yeah. I wonder how come I really thought that just pulling out this little bit of stuff was going to be enough.
I
Who was
know.
I kidding?
Well, I know how that works. I can't say a blessed thing. Because I'll take this big white bin out to the shop or out to the greenhouse with me, and I'm always running back in for one more thing.
Yep. That's why I packed my car craft and well, growing up or when the kids were little, we used to call it a board bag.
Okay.
And so I've already got my board bag packed and I pack it early so that I can go back and add more to it.
Yeah.
And I went on Amazon and ordered several. Oh, I don't know. I didn't spend a lot of money, but I spent a little bit on some things to give the grandkids because
Right.
what I used to do for my kids was we you know we this is the time of the year we always took a vacation because of family reunions and different things like that.
Right.
And we they could take their school backpacks. It's the first time they got to use them, and we filled them with stuff, and that was their board bag.
Okay.
And I always went and bought new things to put in there. Not expensive things like going to the Dollar Tree and, little travel games and
Yeah.
things that they could just destroy and we wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
And so I did that with my two grandkids that are getting to come. And Kennedy was talking yesterday about what she was going to put in her bag of stuff, and I told her what we called it, and she says, "That's what Daddy said." And I said, "So what's going in your board bag?" Because my son told me. He says, "No, Mom, I haven't given it to him. You told me to let it be a surprise. They didn't see it until we got ready to leave." And by golly, he really is. I was like, I can't believe you followed through with it.
That's awesome.
So they don't know yet.
Yeah. I used to make a lot of games for my kids when we traveled. I would do like Hangman and I Spy things, and um, I would have like workbooks for spelling, different books for them to read because my kids were always really voracious readers. Um, but yeah, no, I get it. It's have to have something to keep them amused.
Yep. Okay. I don't know where I got this. Probably, etc., etc. I think in Roswell is like a big antique mall. Look at how I mean, it looks so nice the way it's packaged.
Yeah.
They put the Ziploc at the bottom, so you don't have to rip that staple or anything. You can just open up the.
Wow.
I'm like, that is smart.
It is.
It is really smart.
Okay, so that really short piece of fabric, I sewed on a that big flat blue button, and then I've got these strands, and I'm just going to bead them. Welcome back, Belinda. Hi, Brenda. Welcome, welcome. You shopping and listening? What are you shopping for? Are you in a craft store? Do I need to be jealous? Awesome, Belinda. Yeah, I messaged my daughter today. Uh, I sure wish I had a fishing rod. She borrowed it a couple of months ago because her and her friend were going fishing, and I haven't seen it since. And I would really like to go fishing. It's fishing season, and we can just pick up and go during the week. I really would like to have my fishing stuff back.
I'm gonna go fishing when I go home too.
Nice.
I I'm not take Gary's taking his because he's got a little one that collapses down,
Yeah,
But I'm not because I don't fish enough. But I don't, and being out of state and getting an out of state license and all that.
right.
But we're fishing on the pond at our farm,
Okay,
and so I don't have to have a license.
that's awesome. See, I should have left that big bin of blue bead, big bin of blue beads out so that I could, you know, oh, groceries. I did that on Tuesday. The first Tuesday of every month at a couple of our grocery stores, they have 10% Tuesday. So you get a scratch ticket and you can get up to 50% off your groceries. So that's usually when I shop, do my big shopping, or when, I buy things that I don't normally buy. Is on the first Tuesday of every month. Can I get it to the hole? Is it the long weekend there for you guys too? Do you get this weekend as a holiday weekend?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you got anybody in the States?
No,
No?
it's tax-free weekend.
Oh, I wish we had that.
To me, it's not worth it.
No?
The crowds of people. Oh my gosh!
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll pay for the tax just to keep you people away from me.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
I mean, it's not a big deal to me anymore. 'Cause, it's for the kids. Just some things are tax-free for the kids and going back to school and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right, I think I've built my stash up properly now. And this is just what you can see.
Yep. And I'm sure you've got a whole list in your mind going, I have to pick up that and that and that and put it in here.
Shh. Shh. This may never be able to be used for anything except to look at.
Yeah. Are you going to hang that from your curtain, or is that going to give you a whole idea of what you could add to your curtain?
I'm not gonna my table, my desk that I work on right here is mounted against the wall.
Okay.
So to reach my curtain, I have to climb a step ladder and
Oh,
it's really heavy. So yeah, it's done. It's staying this way. I'm just pinning things on it as I see it
yeah.
wherever I.
Yeah.
Bulb pins are wonderful for that.
Yeah. Well, and like they give you get a scratch ticket and it goes anywhere from 10 to 50%. And I've been shopping doing that for a few years now, and the most I've ever got was 20% off. But while I was there on Tuesday, somebody got 40% off. So I was very happy for them, whoever they were. But I
See,
think that's a wonderful thing.
see the baby whistle?
The baby, oh, look.
That
That's,
listen.
and
It
it
works.
works.
I think I'm just going to pin this right on to the bottom of this strand right here.
Awesome. Very cool. Very, very cool.
See, this is something I could make this a travel thing by taking all of the beads and dangles I want and trinkets and
Yeah,
pinning them on with um, bulb pins, and then I can just sew them on, take the bulb pins off if I wanted to.
that's true. Very true.
I love bulb pins too.
Yeah, they don't sell them here. I had to order them.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all we've got really is Michael's here.
Uh huh. Well, we don't even have Michaels. We only have Hobby Lobby and Walmart.
Well, we've got Walmart, but their craft selection is zilch.
Yeah, I'm not a big Walmart shopper anyway.
Well, it's about the only place I can buy yarn other than Michael's. So I will go to Walmart for,
Yeah, that makes sense.
some things. Shopping list from the teachers who need supplies for their classrooms. That's a nice thing, Belinda, because I know so many teachers and they have to buy so many supplies out of their own pocket for their classrooms. I think that is so unfair. So unfair.
When my daughter taught for a couple of years, she absolutely hated it, but I think it was the district, and I helped her. Well, actually, her first year, I did all of her bulletin boards and set up her class and all of that. It was so much fun.
Hmm.
But I, the amount of money she went through to do that was crazy.
Yeah. And they don't get paid that much,
No,
really.
I really don't.
Tax free groceries. Okay, so what in your groceries is taxed? I'm curious now. Because here we pay taxes on snack things if they like potato chips and things. But if you're buying donuts, if you buy one donut, you'll get taxed on it. If you buy six or more, you do not get taxed on it.
That's kind of weird.
I know. Hi, Jan. Welcome, welcome. We're working on fabric tassel, dangle, embroidery things. Feminine products were taxed. I'm not sure if they are anymore. Shampoos, all that stuff is taxed. But food wise, it's just really the snack stuff that is not taxed.
We're tax free on food here too, and as far as I know, um, if it's pretty much if it's edible, alcohol isn't, health and beauty aids aren't. I'm not sure on the snacks kind of things. I don't think so because you can go into Dollar Tree and buy a candy bar and it's $1.25, just like every. I mean, just that's the price.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure on what is or isn't, but and Texas, I believe, doesn't have sales tax on food groceries either.
Well, it's a necessity. I don't think necessities should be taxed. Toilet paper, yes. Paper towels, yes. Laundry detergent, yes. Yes. Anything that's not edible, yeah. Belinda here too.
But
There.
I think toilet paper and feminine products are a necessity.
I think so too. I get really upset that, you know, feminine products are not. So that really short piece of fabric, I did that button bead, and so I did a strand of beads down from it. I have another one, so I'll do another strand of beads, different beads, or I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I have this long strand. Yes, Right. Environmental tax on plastic containers, bottled water, pop gets a tax on, canned drinks get taxed on.
I don't think we have anything like that, but I don't know.
You know what'd be really cool on these things? You know, like that bookworm bookmark I did when we did do those crochet coil twisty things?
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't those be cute? A couple of those hanging down, maybe in a some sort of a cord or something. I could do it with embroidery floss because it's thicker and some nice colors. I think I might make some.
Cool. You know what I was thinking? Wouldn't it be fun if you were doing a long trip and you made you a tassel
Yeah,
to take with you? You know, you could take some stuff,
right.
but it was going to be everything you found from that trip.
Wouldn't that be fun?
You know, maybe you bought a soda and you could pull the pull tab off of it,
Yeah,
or, you know, even stitch the label in on something.
yeah.
That would be cool.
It would be cool.
Because I used to pick up all kinds of fun things on the ground until the vertigo hit, and now I don't take that chance. But
Right, right. But too, I mean, even like if you're staying in a hotel room or whatever, you get those instant packs of coffee or
uh
whatever.
huh,
You know, you could use those packets, like the label from it.
yep.
Stir sticks. Stir sticks could be really cool on here. No, we do not have depots like that yet, John. I don't think we ever will. To be honest, I have a little crochet hook this long, other string. I'm just going to crochet it. So it's not going to be quite as long hanging down, but it's going to be a different texture, if that makes sense. Oh,
Yeah, and not making these full is really hard on me.
yeah, I can understand that.
Oh,
Oh, embroidery floss is hard to crochet because of all the strands and it splits.
yes.
But I did it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Well, that's like that little project I'm working on that I asked you, said something to you about.
Yeah,
It is that cotton stuff like for dishcloths.
yeah,
It shreds to
it
me,
does. It does.
and it's actually driving me crazy. And when you read on the back of the package what size of hook that yarn should use, and they're having us use a 3.5,
Yeah,
and I think it's too small for that. I really do.
it is. It
But
is.
here's the front of my turtle.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's got a little ruffle in it, and I don't like that. But because I couldn't figure out their stitches and did mine halfway through,
Yeah,
it's good though. I like it. My sister will love it. So
that's what matters.
that's right.
Yeah, Jan, but those were glass bottles. I remember taking my bottles back and getting refunds for them, but not, you know, what am I trying to say? Plastic bottles? No, we don't. They just go into recycling.
And see, we don't even have that.
No?
Not really. We don't have any place to take them.
Oh, they pick it
Um,
up here like
yeah, well,
garbage.
they don't pick ours up. I hate that. I really do. Even my husband's tiny town that we're going to. I mean, it's so tiny, it does not have a stoplight.
We
And
don't have a stoplight.
do you have a grocery store?
A convenience store.
Oh, well, they have a convenience store and they do have an actual grocery store. When we first got married, they had two grocery stores.
Wow.
I know. And we're having this dinner on Sunday and we're supposed to bring a potluck dish. I know that they don't anticipate all of us coming from out of town to bring something. I
Yeah.
mean, I know my mother-in-law, she's probably been cooking for weeks now,
Yeah.
freezer full. And but I, want to make something. And so I had to go online to look it up. The grocery store's not even open on Sunday.
Oh no.
So we're going to have to stop somewhere on Saturday, and pick up some groceries before we ever even get there.
Yeah.
So,
It is, Jan, but we really don't get that here. We really don't get that here anymore. It's really quite annoying.
oh my goodness, look at that. I put this on there
Yeah.
and look, it hangs right smack dab in the center
Isn't that
and,
perfect?
and way longer than everything else.
That's kind of like my purple one. Same thing. It's
Yep.
yeah, but no, this would be fun to take along in the car, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I like your idea of doing the bulb pins and just stitching them down and then taking the bulb pins off. I
Yep.
really like that idea. I may have to do that.
Yep.
I also have like a little to go. This was I can't even remember what it was, but I collaged it. And so I take, some pens and I doodle as we go.
I can't write in the car, but I can. Well, maybe I can. I just don't because my doodles are so tiny.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah. So this tassel's really lopsided. Like all this short stuff is on one side. What am I gonna do? I think maybe I'll have to take something and add.
well, I wanted lace in mine after the fact.
Yeah,
Now, it would have been real easy to snip the wire that I made the loop with and add it in,
yeah,
but I went ahead and tied one on each side.
yeah,
And yeah, the strands are close to each other instead of far apart like I would prefer them, but it still looks good.
yeah. I think I'll do that too. I'll just kind of tie it over this wrap. That's what I will do. What will I use? Got this. Either that or I add short ones to this side, which I could do as well. Oh, about the bulb pins? Sure. Um, Jean was hoping to take hers along with her this weekend. And what she suggested was if you want, say, a bead there, you attach it with a bulb pin so that you can stitch it down after, so that it's not loose and you're not working with a small needle and thread. So it would be the same thing if I want to add sequins. Add the sequin and the bead together, put them on a bulb pin, pin them where I want them, and then I'll show. I will show you. I have bulb pins right here, so that you don't have all this loose stuff that's going to fall all over your car. I was saying that I would take a tray so that I could have things in a tray, but I love that idea of jeans. So I would take the bulb pin, put on, say, this sequin, and I would sew it on with this bead, and I would like it over here, so I'll put the bulb pin over there so that when I'm traveling, I can just sew it straight down. Yeah, exactly, Belinda. That's what I was thinking too. So I figured doing it that way would be a really good way to do it. If that's where you wanted that kind of thing, or if you've got lace you want to stitch down, it just makes sense to me. So this is what I've come up with for finishing off the bookmarks. Those of you who weren't here, I couple of bits of ribbon, paper circle, and a sequin with a bead, and that's how I'm going to be finishing these bookmarks off because we couldn't decide how to do it the other day. You're welcome. Yes, a small safety pin would definitely also work, or even if you wanted like a big bead like this one, a big safety pin, right? Could work. Whatever works, whatever you happen to have on hand. The reason that we're talking bulb pins is because if you've got a bead, depending on the size of it, sometimes it doesn't work with a safety pin. Like these little rings that I have, these little plastic rings, I would definitely use the bulb pin for that because it wouldn't go over a safety pin nicely.
Well, I bought a new pair of capris for vacation,
Uh-huh.
and I have no butt. And so I always put a drawstring in any pants I buy, elastic waist pants,
Yeah.
just so that I can keep them up. And I spent 15 minutes looking for a darn safety pin. I'm like 350,000 art supplies in this house, and I can't find a safety pin.
Mm-hmm.
That was just ridiculous.
That is crazy.
I have used a glue stick to base things too. In fact,
Yeah.
one of the things that I did, I basted it with well, I used the liquid glue because it was closer, but
But doesn't it leave like a hard spot on your stuff?
the
Uh,
glue stick doesn't. But where I put the other one, it didn't really matter.
okay. Yeah, needed something to stitch the sequin and stuff down, Belinda, and I already had the hole, so I figured I would just do a big ugly knot with the tassel, but it moves around.
Did you see what Barbara wrote?
Yeah, exactly. See, I need to have something to do if we are going to BC because I'm so bad going through the mountains. I just have a really hard time with that. So usually I knit, and Ron just laughs because he can hear how fast the knitting needles are going, clicking. so that I'm not paying attention to what's out the window. So I like to have something to do in the vehicle.
Is it because you don't like the mountains? It's scary.
I don't like the way the other people drive in the mountains is scary.
Yeah.
See, when
Okay.
we went through, there had been a mudslide. And so we knew it was going to be finished cleaned up that one day. So we left early and we had the top down of the convertible. There were no other vehicles on the road. I didn't have a single problem. But as soon as we got into the traffic, I had lots of issues, you know?
Yeah. Well, I used to be afraid in the mountains. I mean, I'd hold on to everything possible, curl my toes, all
Yeah.
that, until I drove in them one time because I was the only one that was willing to. It was a bunch of us girls going to Cripple Creek to go gambling in Colorado.
Okay.
And after I drove in them, it was like, yeah, it seems like that nobody's got control of the car, but really they do have control of the car.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just really my poor husband having to deal with the anxiety in me is not definitely not fair.
It's taken all I can do to not say yell his name every time. I try not to do that because then he'll hit the brakes or something else, and
Yeah. Well,
I
let's
just go
this
ahead.
this vehicle that we bought, it'll put the brakes on for you. It will move you back into your own lane. It's we have to turn so much stuff off before we start driving because really, we pay attention when we drive. We aren't like other people. We
Yeah,
actually pay attention. So when we were in the parking lot the other day, we were backing out and we knew we had room, and all of a sudden there are these red lights flashing on the dash. Now that would scare the bejeez out of me, and that would cause me to have an accident.
my new car has that too. And the first time it did that, I mean, I hit those brakes so hard, because red lights in front of you, that means you probably hit somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did turn on the lane thing yesterday,
Okay.
and I was kind of pleased with it. I don't always do it, but I just wanted to get some ideas on, if there wasn't a lot of traffic
Yeah.
and Gary gets tired and then he'll want me to drive and I'm already tired and so I actually just took my hands off the wheel and let it drift a little bit and see what happens, and it pushed me back and I'm like, well, he's going to have that on whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was safe about it and I wasn't going 75 miles an hour, so
Yeah. But I just don't appreciate the car telling me what it thinks. You know, I don't tailgate people. I always have a decent amount of space between. You know, but
yeah.
whatever. I know that it's a safety measure, and I know a lot of people don't pay as much attention as I do when I drive. I understand that. But really,
Well, since I just wrecked my Jeep in January, I definitely pay more attention.
yeah, exactly, Belinda. Exactly. No, no.
Yeah, well, I don't tailgate, but by golly, if somebody tailgates me, I make my husband so mad because I'll go slower.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm
It's
like,
kind of like game on.
that's right. Well, the speed limit on most of the roads in Texas, and that's where I drive the most because that's where the kids are 75 miles an hour.
Okay.
And if I'm going 77, because I'll set the cruise at 77, and I feel like if they're in such a hurry and I'm trying to pass somebody and they're riding my tail, I'm like, hey, I'm already speeding.
Yeah,
Just slow down, you know?
exactly.
And Gary will say, well, hurry up and get around him. I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything wrong. He says, that's where road rage comes from. Well, yeah, probably. And I might be a good candidate for that. I might not, but
Yeah. Me too, Anne. Like it's so many bells and whistles. Honestly, I just yeah, you know, I don't understand.
yeah, they do put a lot more in them now.
I mean, there's some good features. It'll tell you to get your hands back on the damn wheels. You know, 2 hands on the wheel.
Oh, mine doesn't do that.
Oh, ours does.
I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to tell it to, oh, would you just hush?
Yep. And of course, Ron has to test it, right? How far can we go before it starts flashing at me? It's like, it's a guy thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a guy thing. That would be me doing that too.
No.
Gary tells me I'm going to get caught in road rage one of these days. I can be just rebellious enough.
Well, I can be rebellious, but you know, I also do try and be a decent driver.
Oh, thank you, Anne. That makes me feel better.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, I don't like driving much faster than that either, Belinda. Like, you know,
So this is
I,
one of my trinkets that was in my bag. This
is that
little
a
light.
light bulb?
Yeah.
I like it.
So um, this is a cherished piece because when I was younger, we had two babysitters. Cindy was one of them. Debbie was the other one. I liked Debbie. My sister liked Cindy. But Debbie used to come over with like a briefcase full of little toys and activities and stuff. It was her babysitting bag.
Yeah.
And she had a little light bulb just like this that glowed in the dark.
Ooh,
That was one of my favorite things she had in there. I know it's silly, but memories are there.
that's right. Thanks for coming, Barbara. I appreciate you being here. Hope we inspired you to try something new.
Bye, Barbara.
Awesome, Anne. That's very true. Very cool. So I guess if I just keep adding bits to the ends and make longer dangles, it gives it the perceived look. And so I added a short one on the other side, like this piece of ribbon I added so that it's shorter on this side. But wow, I've got just whack load of short things on there. I don't know.
You sound like me yesterday when I wore my new pants that I had to put the drawstring in, and they're capris, but they're too long,
Yeah.
and they've got gorgeous stitching on the side legs, some flowers and stuff. So I can't even take them up but a half an inch, and I'm like, for half an inch, why mess with it, you know?
Yeah.
And I looked at my daughter and I said, "Do you think they'd look longer if I wore sandals?" And she says, "Why do you think that, Mom?" And I said, "Because you'd see more skin instead of stopping at shoe." So I haven't tried it yet. They're in the laundry, but
Yeah.
just one of those silly thoughts,
Yeah. Love the silly thoughts. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
Well, that's a positive reaction to your child getting a ticket, Anne. My kids only got tickets once they had moved out, which is good because, well, maybe no. But they always looked after their own tickets. I never had anything to do with them. So
I didn't either.
I figure you
Heck,
got the ticket.
my kids tag teamed tag tag teamed a car accident.
Oh,
One of them messed it up in the front, and the other one was driving it and messed it up in the back.
oh no.
I mean, and within a week's time too.
Oh no. Oh no. I hated getting those phone calls. Mom, I was in an accident. Because, of course, you always think the worst, but then you have to consider wait, they're phoning you? It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, they're coherent, right? But still, it was like, oh,
And my son's accident was in one of the major intersections, and you know, I know the cop was doing his job, but he kept telling me, "Ma'am, you have to go back on the curb. You can't get out in the street." I said, "I'm looking for the damn cars. That's my car, or that's my kid, and that's our car." And Orion came over and says, "Mom, just calm down. I'm fine." I said, "Okay." But I was like, "Don't you tell me what I can and can't do with my own kid."
yeah, yeah,
Just one of those things, I guess.
yeah. One of my kids got hit by a fire truck. The fire truck was going through a red light. It was raining, so I don't know if she didn't hear the sirens or whatever. She drove smack dab straight into the side of it. She had the green light, so I don't, whatever. I don't know how she did it. Could have been a multitude of different reasons, but still, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least it was her own vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And she wasn't hurt. None of the firemen were hurt. So good thing, but her car was written off.
I've lost my needle.
You lost your needle. Uh
Hmm.
oh. See, I made Ron put a little magnet in the side of this, so I always put my needles back attached to it.
Yep, I just found it. I have this needle this little clamp with a magnet on it here, but I don't know why it actually was under the lace, so
Yeah. Oh, definitely, Anne. Definitely. I think that she probably had the music turned up too high. She was never the one that was always on her cell phone. That was the other one. So I'm definitely thinking that her music was too loud. And
I had one accident right out of high school, and I had um then this last one. So there's a lot of years between my accidents,
yeah,
but this last one was the worst one, and nobody else was involved, so that was good. And yesterday, coming back from Odessa, I actually went down the road I wrecked on. It was my first time.
oh, and you did okay?
I did fine.
Good.
Yep, I was pleased.
That is good. Yeah, wet street, pouring rain, Oh, why am I? Oh, 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 I think I got it. Yay! No. One thread short. Trying to thread a needle with embroidery floss. I used to have needle threaders, but I broke them all. They don't make them the way they used to.
No, they sure don't.
Well, I do have another bin of needles someplace. It's just that this needle won't go through the bead. This thread won't thread through the bead nicely. You do learn how to drive in Winnipeg. Steinbach's worse. Steinbach has the worst drivers in Canada. I swear they've got the worst drivers in Canada. We used to have a show on TV called Canada's Worst Drivers, and I think every episode there was somebody from Steinbach on it. But Jan, you've got hills there. Isn't that harder to drive with the ice and snow than it is in Winnipeg? Excellent, Anne. Well, because most of our year is, well, okay, not most of our year, but a good part of our year is snow and ice. You learn how to handle it. But you sure know the first couple of days you don't go anywhere because people have to learn how to drive in it all over again. Is that your phone, Jean?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's my granddaughter.
Nice. She's excited to be going along with you.
Oh, yes.
Are you going to have her in your vehicle part of the time?
No, because they live 90 miles from us,
Okay.
and they have to take their dog in before they can leave.
Okay.
And so my husband will get up at the crack of dawn. I'm sure
Yes.
we're going to leave by 5 o'clock at the very latest. It
Yeah.
would be 4 if it was up to him. In fact, we're doing takeout tonight just so that we can go to bed early and not have dishes and all that.
Oh, nice.
Nice for him. I don't go to bed early.
Yeah. Do you sleep in the vehicle at all?
I do. I do.
Yeah. Me
And
too.
normally I'm so excited and ready to go and, concentrating on getting this done and that done and blah, 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 that I just don't get to sleep good that night we leave ever.
Yeah.
And, and then, of course, he wants me to drive then when I'm tired and he's tired at the same time. So
Right.
I said, let me drive first. You sleep. You can sleep standing up.
Yeah. Well, for us, I don't drive in the mountains either, so I would drive the prairies, all the flat stuff. If we
Well,
just if we go.
I don't drive in the mountains if I have to, but there's no mountains. We will actually go through 5 states by the time we get there
Yeah.
because we, go over to Texas, counting our home state,
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Colorado, Kansas. So, but I don't know. I just don't like to drive anymore. I used to not mind it, but I just don't like it so much anymore. I don't like to drive. I don't like to buy groceries. I think I'm just a lazy person in general.
Well, I have since the pandemic for sure. My anxiety is harder to deal with, so I don't know how we're gonna do this trip to BC.
Yeah.
And with all the smoke and everything that's out there, although on Tuesday Yolanda was here and she said that there wasn't any smoke.
That's good.
Yeah, and when we had the kids, we would drive through the night for the first part of the trip so that they could sleep and we would get through the prairies because it's so flat. But just Ron and I going, yeah, it's going to be different. It's definitely going to be different. So I'm not really sewing anything on. I did this and then did a beaded strand. I did sew on that. What is that? That sequin and bead. On this bottom of this burlap, I did a couple of beads and sequins because the burlap wants to curl. So I was hoping that would be heavy enough to hold it down, but it's not. I probably should have used different beads, heavier beads. I can still add heavier beads, but we will see. I still have lots of, you know, strand that I could add more, or maybe a couple of buttons. I think I'll add a button. Yeah, not sure when we're gonna leave, Jen. Want to get as much of the garden in as possible. Haven't decided where we're staying. You guys all have cats. So, yeah, still some different logistics because we want to stop and see Steve, and we have other friends that we want to stop and see. Um, yeah, just don't know. Don't know. But like I say, definitely want to get as much of the garden in before we go so that my neighbor doesn't have too much to look after. Hey, Shaz, welcome, welcome. It's okay, Jen.
Hi, Shaz.
We are making decorative tassels, so they're just fabric and lace, and then we're embroidering and sewing buttons and sequins and different things on, making decorative tassels.
This thing is getting quite heavy.
I know you don't think it's going to be heavy because of it. You're using plastic, but they do get heavy.
Well, a lot of my beads are not plastic.
Well,
And, it,
true.
and I got this on there, and I may have to take that off.
Well, it
In fact,
depends. What are you going to be using it for?
I don't know. It'll probably just hang for pretties.
Yeah,
A lot of what I've done, you can't even see yet.
I
I could have
know.
just done the outside layer and called it finished, but
I know. It's amazing.
it's all good. I love it, so it doesn't matter.
That's kind of the way I look at it. I'm having fun. It's pretty, and it's not
Right?
going anywhere but here. So
That's right. That's what I was just getting ready to say. Making it for nobody else.
that's right. So, what have you ladies been up to creatively? Anne is doing cards. Sherry, what are you working on right now, hun? Anne's also doing a mock up of her journal. Belinda has been making little bits and cleaning up scraps. You're creatively procrastinating? Oh, I was having a day like that yesterday. And then I started doing stuff. So, just a heads up to those of you who weren't here when I announced that Sunday I will be doing a celebration giveaways. Yes, and she's tossing the scrappy scraps. Hey, Susan, welcome, welcome.
Hi, Susan.
We are making tassels, sort of.
This thing's getting weirder and weirder all the time.
Why?
I mean, it's just I just keep I don't know. Weirder in a good way. In
Oh,
a good
good, good. Because it's fun. And you know what? Basically, it's really simple.
yes,
That's what I like about it. It's really nice and simple.
it is very simple and it's very relaxing. Even though
Yeah,
I'm wanting to organize my stuff here, but
I'm not organizing anything. Everything has its own container, but they're all just going to go back in the bin to go out to the greenhouse or wherever I go.
yeah, well, I need to. That's part of why I'm organizing,
Yeah,
is because I know this is going to go with me.
yeah.
My sister's little turtle may not get finished, but
Sherry, are you making bags with the granny squares, or are you going to do an Afghan? See, now I did this because I wanted weight because that burlap was curling up in on itself. So I just tied on some embroidery floss, put some bead sequins and buttons. The beads and sequins were not heavy enough to weigh it down to stop it curling. The buttons are, but there's only two instead of my odd number that I like to do. So to me, it looks kind of goofy, but not, you know. Are you doing a blanket? Nice. So I don't know if it's those little ones are on the outside of the tassel. Wonder if I can get them more inside, if you know what I mean, so that they're not. I was hoping to have the little ones so that it would give more bulk and poof out, but they're all on one side. So they're not in the middle where I wanted them to give them the. Does that make sense? Do you understand? What are you working on, Melissa? Shaz is doing creative procrastination, which is awesome. I do
I
that.
love that terminology.
Yeah. Anne's doing journals and cards. Sherry's granny squares are for a blanket. Jan, what are you working on, hun?
Well, it must be close to time to stop. I can't even see the thread.
Oh, we've been on for over 2 hours. Yeah,
My goodness, time flies when you're having fun.
it does. And these are addictive, you know. I
Very.
That's why I have it upstairs so that I've got something to do if I do sit down and listen to the TV or if I go out to the greenhouse or whatever.
I've been watching some series on Netflix. It's not allowing me to get much done.
I
There,
got rid of my Netflix.
I just now started watching stuff that way. I
Yeah,
was bound and determined to never watch a series.
yeah,
Now I don't know how many I've been through. And actually, right now I'm watching two at a time, which I think is weird, but I'm getting it. They're able to stay apart.
right.
So,
Well, Belinda, I have one of those tassels on the back of this journal because it's a nice tall journal, right? So I've got a nice big tassel on this one. That was the very first one I did. And I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing this one. I even did some embroidery inside the buttonholes. I made them like little flowers. I don't know if you can see. How close can I get?
wow.
Where is it? Come back, come back. So it's got like little stem and stuff, and then French knot flowers out of one hole kind of thing. This one has lots of sequins on, more crocheting. It was a very thin tassel compared to this last one that I just made while we were on. So I use it here. A lot of people hang them on their doorknobs. They do nice big gorgeous tassels. They use them for decor. I don't know what Moon's going to do with hers.
It's just going to be a pretty.
It's just going to be a pretty.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. This
What
is
am
the
I
one.
watching? Right now I'm watching Call the Midwife, and I can't remember the other one. It's about it's a period piece and the woman's in prison. It's two words, and the second word is the woman's name. It's like I don't know why I keep thinking it's exile, but maybe it is. I don't know. But I really like it. It's kind of different. I just got done watching Peaky Blinders, which was against my better judgment, and it did take me 5 episodes to like it. So, but I did enjoy it afterwards. But I like the period things. I like those, you know, foreign kind of stuff. I don't know, weird, but I do.
Yeah. Thanks, Belinda. So, Jean, what are you going to do? It's just going to be a pretty. Where are you going to hang it?
Um, right now I'll say the art room, but it depends upon how much I love it.
Yeah.
And right now I love it a lot. So I've got several strands finished.
Good.
Well, finished for now.
Yeah.
I could easily add more to them, I'm sure.
So, this is the one I made at the beginning of the stream, showing how we put them together. And then this is the one that I finished recently. It's lots of buttons, lots of beads. Again, weighs a fair bit. I added crocheting to it.
I
So
really like it. I like it a lot.
that's
Have I
good.
said that?
That's good. Yeah, I'm liking this too, except for all these little short ones. But then again, if I
It
put
may
it,
turn out that that's the perfect thing.
it might turn out to be the perfect thing. You're right. You're right. So I'm just going to keep playing with it off and on. And, I've got these wonderful, funky, blingy things, sequins that my friend gave me. So this is almost like one of those ruffly, I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, so lots of glittery, fun stuff. Lots of fun stuff. Grant Chester? I don't know what that is.
Is that on Netflix? I agree, Jan. I like the English series. Except they sure seem to have a lot of sex.
Most of the series these days have a lot of sex.
I was a little surprised. I've watched several that I've really enjoyed. The Queen's Gambit, I really
I
liked.
love that one.
I really liked that one too. I was kind of surprised at how many I've actually watched.
Yeah,
Consider, I,
I figured I only watch it like every 3 or 4 months. It's not worth it. And then I'll binge watch a series. So it's not worth
yeah,
it for me to be paying for Netflix if we're
yeah,
not watching it. So I
yeah.
got rid of that.
And I watched Brit I can't even think of what Bridget
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton or Bridgerton.
Bridgerton. Yeah,
Yeah. I watched that. I love that one. And
I
I
didn't.
watched Charlotte, Queen Charlotte.
Okay.
And I actually, what started me on thinking I could even do that was my daughter commented on something about House of Dragons. And it
Okay.
was one of those limited series. And so I thought, okay, it's just like 8 or 9 episodes. I can watch this. And I loved it.
Good.
And she says, well, Mom, if you like that, you'd really like Game of Thrones. And see, I never wanted to watch Game of Thrones. It was just not happening.
Yeah, I never watched that.
I loved it. I mean, it was my go-to. I don't binge watch. I might watch 2 or 3 episodes in an evening. And maybe on the weekend I might watch 3 or 4, but
Yeah.
that was it. I didn't sit and watch them. And just kind of from there, and I do look mostly at the British period pieces. I love that era. I love watching the kings and the queens, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Just I guess it's fantasy for me. I don't know, but I like it.
That's all that matters.
That's right.
If you didn't like it, you wouldn't be watching it.
That's so true.
I did watch Bridgerton. Um, what I watched Blacklist.
I seen that when it was on regular TV. So
Yeah, seriously, we never watched it because we really don't watch TV.
yeah, I don't watch except in the evenings. I don't, and that's not every evening either. Sometimes I watch and sometimes I don't.
Yeah,
Just depends. And of course, Gary and I don't like the same kind of TV, so
yeah, I know that feeling.
he did watch Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
He's the one who convinced me to watch that. Him and my mom's cousin, and he was really excited that I watched it.
Oh, good.
And but the thing is, he decides he wants to watch something. He's got a TV in his man cave out, his man shed, whatever,
Yeah,
and he'll watch it. And then when I'm ready to watch it, he's like, "Well, I've already watched it," and I'm like, "Well, don't ask me to watch it with you then."
yeah,
And you're going to go off and watch it yourself. But he's a guy. What can I say?
yep. Yeah, no, Ron watches a lot of like those rocket things and where they're uh, the ice road trekkers,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So he's been watching the boats come into Detroit Lakes, or I'm not even sure. And they have that air horn when they come in because they have to do a series of these whistle things like trains have to.
Uh huh.
They're coming into towns. So he watches a lot of that and all those live cameras to do with train tracks. Yeah. So, there's always a big horn going between the train whistles and the boat whistles. And
Gary watches a lot of cooking shows,
okay.
which is good because he loves to cook and I like to eat. So, hey, it's win win.
Yeah. I don't watch cooking shows. I really, I watch my ladies who stream and audiobooks.
Yeah.
That's my biggest extent of what.
I don't do audiobooks, but I have started listening to podcasts.
Okay,
And I usually have one for the way over to Odessa and one for the way back.
okay.
And I sometimes watch them or listen to them, if Riley's with me. And then one day he made a comment. I made a comment about something he was watching. He says, "Well, Grandma, you watch those true crime or listen to those true crime podcasts all the time." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I guess so." So
Working on a thank you card. That's nice. I haven't watched Murdoch Mysteries. I just it's not my thing. I just don't.
I like mysteries and whodunits and
Yeah,
stuff like that a lot. So
yeah. I mean, that's the kind of books I used to read when I could read. I miss reading. Bought some books from little girls out selling books. I did read one, but I get such a bad headache now when I read that
oh
I read on my tablet because I can have it so that the text is white and the background's black.
yeah,
I don't get a headache that way, but when it's black words on a white page, yeah,
yeah. Everything I have, my computer, all of it's set up with a black background.
yeah, me too, me too.
So there's my car travel bag right there. Oh,
Okay.
and a pair of scissors
Oh yeah,
because I
don't forget.
take a pair of scissors for every project.
Well, yeah,
Just because they could get lost.
that's right. That's right. That's perfect.
That's what I thought.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I think I can get it in one zipper bag.
Oh, probably, probably. All right. Well, I thank you guys all for being here. Jean's already packed up. I'm gonna put a couple more things on, then I'm gonna go back to doing some other things. I will get some envelopes ready for Sunday. And what else? Sunday is the celebration. I don't know if I'm gonna draw numbers or just have I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I am going to have thank you envelopes. Um, I'm gonna finish off those bookmarks. See, I've got needle and thread here. I should do those, right? Get those done and done and done. And yeah, that's about it. I don't have anything else new and exciting. Do you have anything else new and exciting, Jean?
No, not really. We will be leaving tomorrow and we will be gone for till the 14th, whatever that is.
All right. So
So,
Jean won't be with me next Friday. If somebody wants to
no.
come on and play, please let me know because it is Friends on Friday. I feel that sometimes I get carried away, and you know how that works.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. I will see some of you on Sunday, and hope I see lots of you on Sunday, but it will be what it will be. It is a long weekend here in Canada. Jean, have a wonderful, safe trip.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care, everybody. We will see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye. I have to find where my mouse is. Oh, come on, mouse. Bye, guys. Thanks.